Good day everyone, my name is Navneet Anand from Voice Aajkal, local and global. Today sitting in Paddington, meeting one of the living legend. We have cricketers and then the legends. The Spirit of Cricket, India, a book by Steve Waugh. Mr. Waugh, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Cricket is a religion in India,
Yes,
as everybody knows.
sure.
This book, The Spirit of Cricket, India, what inspired you to do this book?
Well, the first time I went to India was 1986 on that famous test series where we had the Thai test in Madras. And for me, coming from the western suburbs of Sydney to going to India was a real culture shock for me. Got to the airport at Bombay and got on the team bus, and there was cars going in and out of no one stayed in the lanes. I thought that's a bit strange. Then they didn't stop at the red lights. I thought, well, that doesn't happen in Australia. And then on the side of the streets, there was just masses of people, and there was dogs and cats and animals everywhere, and kids playing cricket in the alleyways and on the parks, and it was just a total bombardment of my senses. But and I'd always taken a camera with me on tour, so I took quite a few shots on that first tour, but I could never get off the bus and go down the alleyways and take the shots of the kids playing cricket, and that's something that stuck in the back of my mind. And one day I thought, I'm going to come back to India and try and capture the spirit of cricket through the lens of my camera. And then it was 34 years after that first time, with the support of Canon, I went on a trip for 18 days in the search of the spirit of cricket.
Tell me about the fascination about India that you have.
I just think I love the fact that there's a lot of people there who haven't got much in life, who struggle to put a meal on the table, yet they've got this amazing attitude. They're happy and content, and they get on with life, they don't complain, and they have this incredible love for cricket which tends to unite and bond the people of India. And no matter whether you've got money or not, when you play cricket, everyone's level, and that's the great thing about playing sport, is it doesn't matter which background or where you come from. As soon as you have a bat and ball in hand, you've got a chance to be successful.
As you said, the 18 days in India, shooting around the photos, and you picked up Canon. Any particular reason for picking Canon?
I've been a Canon ambassador for quite a while.
Yeah.
I've been interested in photography, and we had that connection many years ago. So this project was probably 18 months talking about getting it up and running, because it's a big project, and 9 different cities, and organising a lot of different people meeting along the way. It was a lot of background work, and I needed support, and Canon were fantastic, and then all of a sudden off we went, and we didn't stop. We shot photographs about 12, 14 hours a day for 17 days, and I ended up taking between 15 and 20,000 shots on this trip.
Millions of fans all around the world. I think half of them would be there in India itself.
Yep.
But you have picked up the Sugu Kumar from Bangalore in the book. How did he impress you to be featured in the book?
Well, he's a bit crazy, isn't he? Goes to every game of cricket, and you've got this Sachin Tendulkar fan who paints himself up.
That's right.
Sugamar is a Virat Kohli fan, and I wanted to capture behind the scenes why do people love cricket so much. So it wasn't so much about Virat Kohli or the current national team. It was more the people behind the scenes, and this was a fan that takes a couple of hours every time he goes to a match to dress up and support India and show his fanaticism and his love of Virat Kohli. And I just wanted to capture him getting ready for the game, so putting his suit on and his makeup and then his feathers in his hair, and it was fun to watch, and he was a real character.
Talking about not cricket but Uddayan, there was a charity in Kolkata.
Yes.
Who introduced you, and are you still in touch with those people?
Yeah, that was 20 odd years ago, and that was really, that came from meeting Mother Teresa very briefly on a tour, and I was obviously impressed by the amazing work she's done her whole life, and the opportunity came up on the next trip to be involved with Uddayan, which is a rehabilitation centre for kids who either have leprosy or their parents have leprosy.
Yeah.
And there was no one raising funds for Girls Wing, and I had just my first daughter, and so I decided to get involved with raising funds for that, and that's now 20 years later. And I'm still supporting that organisation. I've got funds which I allocate each year, and that really got me going in my philanthropic pursuits. Meeting Mother Teresa was a catalyst, and then I thought with my profile I could raise awareness and I could raise money and do good.
Not talking about cricket, taking back, you're happily married for over 20 years, as you said. Your first date with Lynette, What I heard is that was in the year 12 format.
Yes, yes.
Any memory of that?
Well, you've got a good memory. You've dug that one out. We met in my final year of school. So
Yeah.
it was at the school muck-up day. It was the first time we'd met each other, and it was just something we just connected straight away. And I invited her to the school formal, and that was the first time I invited a girl to go out to me to the school formal. And ever since that moment, we've been together. So she supported me throughout my whole career, and it really has been a voice of reason when I've had self-doubt or I was looking for honest advice. I'd always go to her first. She'd tell me exactly how it was. Sometimes I didn't like what she was saying, but most of the times, or pretty much all the time, she was pretty much spot on with her advice.
But I think having a critic at home is probably the best thing one can have in life.
Yeah,
That's the most honest opinion that you can get.
Yeah, as long as that
like it or
opinion's
don't
not
like it.
24/7. You have your opinion, then you get back to normal life. But yeah, I think the key to my success was having a couple of good people that I trusted around with me the whole time and listening to them and not listening to all the advice, because as a captain, you're going to get plenty of advice, and you got to try and work out which people do you trust.
You know, at the age of 55, which you don't look like, and you have a very, very busy schedule, we know that. What is the mantra for the physical and the mental health?
I think having some purpose in life. You've got to have something that gets you up and you're excited about. And I love taking on a new challenge, and photography on this project was a massive challenge because I didn't know how successful I was going to be. I was enthusiastic, but I didn't really know the technique, so I took someone to coach me on the way, a guy called Trent Park, who's a great photographer. But for me, it's about having purpose and something that gets you excited each and every day, because if you haven't got that, and you can probably fall into a bit of depression and think too much about the wrong thing. So I look ahead and be excited by a project.
You know, as you said, I was given an advice at one stage by one of the top guy in India. He goes, always give yourself a target. Probably you are giving yourself a target and changing the target from time to time.
Yeah, I guess in some sort of way. Yeah, my target on this trip was to be a better photographer. That was my aim. So you're probably right in what you're saying, that you've got to aspire to something. And for me, I didn't want to take average photos, which I've always taken. I wanted to take photographs on the manual settings, which meant I had to learn about shutter speed and aperture and ISO, all these things I didn't know much about. And I had to learn about light, trying to capture the light in the right time. So yeah, for me it was how can I become a better photographer? That was my goal.
I think looking at the photos all around, I'm getting confused. Which one would be your best 3 picks? Why not, if I invite you to show us
Sure.
your
Well,
3 picks?
I don't have my best 3 either, but I'll pick 3 out for you.
Please.
We'll start with this one up here. So it's called physically challenged cricketers, and some people might say handicapped, but for me they weren't handicapped. They were enabled in every way, and it was like poetry in motion. Watching these guys fly through the air, obviously missing the lower half of his leg, and I think this man had polio, but they used these bamboo poles as crutches, and they sort of leapt into the crease. So these 3 shots here were just watching those guys play cricket.
Where was it?
This was outside of Delhi. I'm not exactly sure where.
Right.
I can't remember 100%, but it was a physically challenged cricketers of India, and the standard of cricket they played was amazing. And just watching this guy fly through the air and his hair going everywhere, and he'd land on this bamboo crutch, and then he'd bowl the delivery, and he was a really good cricketer.
Absolutely inspirational.
Yep. So that was one of my favourites. We might move over here to, this was in the bat and ball factory in Meerut. And the top one is, I used a different lens on this called a macro lens, so I got in really nice and close because I wanted to capture the precision and the craftsmanship of this old guy. He's about 80 years of age. And what they do is they hand stitch 8 balls per day per person. So they're all day just stitching a ball, and you just see how intricate the work is here. So I wanted to capture his expertise in actually doing that ball. And he was, as I say, about 75 to 80 years of age, but he knew exactly what he was doing.
It takes a lot of precision to have exactly in the same spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't have that patience or that skill level, but these guys have been doing it a long time, and he was amazing. And over here just shows how they do it. So they sit in here and they pull the seam through, and that was all leather they used for the ball. So that was a great experience. And probably the third one might take you down to the silhouette shot of a guy hitting a 6 on the beach in Juhu beach in Mumbai, and this was just before the sun went down, and got on nice and low on the sand and took the shot of just behind you there. Yep, just watched that fall. So this one I waited for quite a while to get this shot, and I like the I guess the action and the detail, and managed to just get the ball in the shot as well.
Beautiful.
So I really like that
This
shot.
one is in Juhu.
Juhu Beach, yeah. Just and there was thousands of people flying kites and playing cricket and walking dogs, and it was just so much action going on. So yeah, that was great fun. I think you can see one of the guys starting to fly his kite here. But I like the detail that just on the sunset, that it just brings everything out. That to me was a typical cricket shot, trying to hit a 6.
2003 in Sydney, the last ball of the match. There was 2 needed for the 100. I think you hit a 4.
Yes, I did. Yeah, that was a moment that I used to dream about as a kid, playing for your country and hitting a 4 or 6 off the last ball to get a century. And you never think that opportunity would come, and then all of a sudden it did against England. In my home crowd, when I had pressure on me to, I guess, my place in the team, there was a lot at stake, and it just came together perfectly, and all of a sudden there I was with 1 ball to go, and hitting a 4 off the last ball, and I can't really remember the ball hitting the bat, but I just knew as soon as I made connection it was going to go for 4, and the crowd just came to life, because that whole day it was sort of muted a bit. I was sort of blocking a lot out because I wanted to just focus on what I was doing. But the moment I hit a 4, it was like someone turned the volume up to maximum, and I could hear all this noise and people cheering, and it was an amazing experience.
Would have been a fantastic feeling.
It was, and I often say to people, if I give you 5 minutes of my career, I'll give you that last over and that 4, and then walking off with the crowd just going berserk. It was, something I feel very lucky to have happened to me.
How was the experience with the captain's ride?
The captain's ride with my charity, that was a huge challenge. Probably more so than photography. I wanted to raise money in a different way, and I thought, why not put yourself through a bit of torture and ride 800 kilometres over 6 days and climb the equivalent of climbing up to Mount Everest, 10,000 metres. And it seemed reasonably easy as a target until I got on the bike and realised how difficult it was going to be. And that was the hardest thing I've ever done, was that first bike ride. I've done 4 subsequent rides, and I made sure that every time after that I prepared much better. I did my training, because it was difficult. But again, it was a challenge, and it was a way of raising money. So I really enjoyed it.
So when do we expect the next one?
Well, COVID has sort of stopped the world in its tracks, so we plan on having one each year. So hopefully next year around November.
Before I wrap up, I just want to say thank you so much to Chinmaya, helping me out with the questions and the research, and thank you to Tarun and Varun for the shoot. Any of the messages that you want to give it to the budding cricketers?
I just think you've got to enjoy what you're doing, and try and improve every time, and don't be afraid to do it your way. Just because someone's telling you to do a certain way, if you think you can do it a different way or a better way, give it a go. There's no such thing as it being a mistake. I think it's an experience. So try things out, listen to your mates, listen to your coach, but listen to yourself as well, and develop your own style, and try and improve every time you play. I think that's the key thing. And don't use excuses. Do the hard work, and if you do that, you're going to be more successful than you probably think you're going to be.
In the spirit of cricket India, I'm looking forward to go through the book once we finish it up and leave on. And I invite each and everybody, does not matter what background you come from, this is going to be absolutely inspirational, and you would love it from the core of the heart. I have just gone through the photos in this library, and I'm already started feeling as if I have been traveling with Mr. Waugh back there. What a wonderful time to release the book. We have the Festival of Light, Deepavali, coming up, and the book is being released in the same month. Yeah,
well, that's a good. I mean, there's always plenty of festivals in India. Every time I go there, there's Indians are celebrating something, and they love doing that. So Diwali is a very important time for all Indians. So yeah, look, if you love the book, go to my website stevewaugh.com.au, and you can have a look and buy yourself a copy. But to me, it was trying to find why cricket is a religion in India, through my eyes, and capturing the spirit of cricket, and I think I've done that. To me, it's about just getting a bat and a ball, no matter what background they're from, making the stumps up with, you could draw a bit of chalk on a wall, or you can have bricks or fence palings, and then you start a game. And for me, Indians love the game. They feel that the sport connects them together, the people who haven't got much in life. It really gives them hope, and it gives them something to be proud of. So to me, that's the spirit of cricket, that anyone can play, and it's just about having a go. If I can invite you to leave a message for Diwali to all your Indian fans across the globe. Happy Diwali. Hope you enjoy it. I'm sure you will. आज हमने की स्टीव वॉग से बातचीत, और मैं आपका नवनीत, on this platform which is Voice Aajkal, local and global.
one-stop answer to your Australian education and visa matters. Gemco Sydney. Dream big, achieve big.
Fiji Times. Be with the times.